tender the document referred to by Ms Needham, CTJH 200 02034 0070, and that's the minutes of the Diocesan Professional Standards Resource Group meeting on the 28th of October 1997.
26.21. And otherwise, Bishop Heenan can be excused.
Yes,
thank you, Bishop. Thank you for your attendance, and you're otherwise excused.
Your Honour, I call Ms Majella Ryan.
Ms Ryan, do you wish to take the oath or the affirmation?
Take the oath.
Can you raise the Bible in your right hand, please? And repeat after me. I swear by Almighty God.
I swear by Almighty God.
That the evidence I shall give. In this Royal Commission. Shall be the truth. The whole truth. And nothing but the truth.
Nothing but the truth.
Thank you, Ms Ryan. If you would place the Bible and take a seat, please.
Ms Ryan, we might just make sure the mobile phone is off. No, that's okay, just so it doesn't distract you. Ms Ryan, have you provided two statements to the Royal Commission?
I have.
Is the first of those statements dated the 27th of February 2014?
Yes.
And have you had an opportunity to review that statement before coming to the public hearing to give evidence?
I have.
And to the best of your knowledge, is it an accurate statement?
It is.
I tender that statement.
26.22.
Sorry, it's dated the 26th of March 2015. Did you also provide a further statement dated the 17th of April 2015?
I did.
And again, have you had an opportunity to review that statement?
I have.
And is it an accurate statement?
It is.
I tender the second statement dated the 17th of April 2015.
26.23.
Ms Ryan, you're currently the Assistant Executive Director for Child Safety in the state of Queensland.
I am.
And how long have you had that role?
About 18 months.
And very briefly, can you tell us what your responsibilities are in that role?
I have responsibility for the programs, so all of our child safety programs, and also responsibility for the investment, so investment of particularly in our non-government services.
Were you asked by the Royal Commission to provide a statement that detailed many aspects of the state government's relationship with Neerkol from its inception in 1885 until it closed in 1978?
Yes, I was.
And you have had no personal involvement with Neerkol when it was operating as an orphanage?
No.
And indeed, you were not employed by the Queensland government in 1978 when it closed?
No.
So your statement and your evidence today is by reference to other persons' materials and records?
It's based on a search of the archives and the records that the department still has relating to Neerkol.
Can I ask you about those records? From where have you accessed records in relation to Neerkol Orphanage?
We did a search of the archives for any material relating to Neerkol and the information asked that the Royal Commission asked us to address, and also departmental records, particularly in relation to redress, that aren't currently archived.
And the archives are held in Brisbane? Are there archives in Rockhampton as well?
No, I did a check, and no records around Neerkol are held in Rockhampton. They're all in Brisbane.
So all the documents that exist were either in the Brisbane archives or in departmental records?
Yes.
From your inquiries, is there any, are those records considered to be complete?
No. There was a flood in 1974 where the records were stored, which was in the basement of a building in George Street, was flooded and some records were destroyed.
And can you quantify what proportion of those records were destroyed?
No, we can say what we were able to access and locate, but I can't quantify what was destroyed.
And this might be self-evident, but can you say what the destroyed documents, what areas they might in particular have related to, or you just can't say?
I can't say.
So it's not the case that there was particular years that were in a particular place that were the subject of floods?
It appeared to be random. We do have some records in relation to Neerkol that go back to the early 1900s.
Your statement covers in quite a lot of detail the relationship between the Queensland Government and the Neerkol Orphanage in terms of governance. But simply put, under the relevant legislation, the Director of the State Children's Department, or whatever form it took at the time, became the guardian of the children at Neerkol who were state wards. That's right. And the Director was also the guardian of British migrant children.
Yes, that was delegated to the Director.
And at all times, Neerkol Orphanage was licensed under the appropriate relevant legislation.
Yes.
And the licence was held by a governing authority, which was at all relevant times the Sisters of Mercy.
Yes.
And for all relevant times between 1885 and 1978 or 79, the orphanage was operated by the Sisters of Mercy.
Yes.
The superior at Neerkol was designated, the Mother Superior at Neerkol was designated by the state government as the approved carer of the children.
Yes.
And the Mother Superior of the Sisters of Mercy at Neerkol was then accountable to the state government.
Yes, the licence was in the name of the Mother Superior.
And from your research and from reference to the archive material, there were three main sources of income.
That's right.
By which the Neerkol Orphanage was financed, namely from the state government, the Commonwealth Child Endowment Fund, and through the Catholic Church. Is that correct?
That's right. I'll get rid of that. I didn't mean to bring that up.
No, that's all right. Now, you were asked to consider the archived material really to see or determine the nature of the reporting relationship between the state government and the Sisters of Mercy or the Neerkol Orphanage.
Yes.
And there were records in relation to that which existed back to about 1915.
Yes.
And those records related to various areas whereby the Sisters of Mercy or the employees at the Neerkol Orphanage would report to the state government on discrete topics.
That's right.
And you set out at paragraph 24 of your statement the areas upon which the reporting would occur.
That's right.
The records also showed that the state government had a role in setting policies and procedures for administrative issues.
Yes. What the records show, the Royal Commission asked us to look for what were policies and procedures.
Yes.
We could only really find policies and procedures in relation to administrative matters.
During the years that the Neerkol Orphanage was run by or operated by the Sisters of Mercy, the Sisters of Mercy, or the governing authority as they were, was responsible for the hiring and training of staff, subject to the ultimate approval of the minister. Is that right?
The Sisters of Mercy had responsibility for the management, hiring of their staff. There could be a recommendation made to the minister to show cause about why that licence might be cancelled, but there would have to be grounds to be given for that.
But within that, the hiring of staff to work at the Neerkol Orphanage was the responsibility of that was the Sisters of Mercy.
Yes.
And there were no departmental records or archived material which showed any sort of records or process by which staff were hired by the Sisters of Mercy?
No.
Nor were there any records which showed any training of staff hired at the orphanage?
No.
Or indeed sisters that worked at the orphanage as part of their vows or part of their vocation?
No.
So there were no training manuals, if you like?
No.
There were no policies or procedures for the recruitment of staff?
None that could be found.
And you specifically looked for that? During this period of time, during the period from 1885 right through to 1978, the State Department, or the Department for Children, whatever it was called at the relevant time, and the state government had the ultimate responsibility for children who were wards of the state or British migrants under the legislation.
Yes, correct.
And the records disclosed that they had a supervisory role in respect of those children?
Yes, they had certain responsibilities to inspect premises and...
So they had responsibilities under the Act?
Yes.
And you set out the relevant sections in your statement?
Yes.
But they also implemented a regime in respect of that, didn't they? The government?
Yes.
So in the 1950s, for example, the State Children's Department employed 4 officers in Rockhampton whose role was to make inspections of the orphanage.
Yes.
And you set responsibilities at paragraph 67 of your statement. There was also a state children's inspector who resided at Rockhampton in the relevant time?
Yes.
And was that in addition to the 4 district officers?
I assumed that it was part of the district officers my assumption is that they were once known as district inspectors, and then over time the terminology changed to district officers.
So, at any one time, there could be up to 4 inspectors or district officers in Rockhampton. Is that correct?
It's correct, but for how long there were 4, when 4 became appointed in Rockhampton, I really couldn't say that there were 4 here since 1911.
So you didn't have any specific records as to, at any one time, how many persons were employed by the government as an inspector or as a district court officer, as a district officer?
In Rockhampton?
Yes.
We tried to find that, and we also looked through annual reports to see that we could find, and what we found I recorded in my statement.
So there's nothing above and beyond what's in your statement as to how many relevant inspectors or district officers were present in Rockhampton at any one time?
Not to my knowledge. I can check that, but my understanding is all that we found is included in the statement.
David, before you move on to another topic,
I'm sorry.
We'll take the lunch adjournment now. Ms Ryan, we'll take the lunch break now until 2 o'clock, so we'll to return at 2. Thank you.